Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amy Shrader with RE/MAX Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Mortgage Investors Group.
And it is Wednesday at 12 o'clock, so we are back with you for our Facebook Live. Last week we ran a contest and we told you to like the video, share the video, and tag 3 teachers when you did that, and then we would pick a teacher. So stay tuned till the end of our episode and we will announce who that lucky winner is. We're giving them $250 to use in their classroom because, as you all know, teachers are highly underpaid and they don't get enough money from the state or the county to, really do what they need to do inside the classroom. So we're going to help a teacher out. Stay tuned till the end for that. But what we're going to talk to you about today are questions that you would ask your listing agent. So let's say you're ready to list your house and you have picked 2 or 3 agents that you want to sit down and talk to and kind of interview them, if you will, to make the decision on who you're going to get to list your home. So a lot of times, when I go on a listing appointment, I'll sit down and we're talking to this, I'm talking to the seller and I will say, do you have any questions for me? And a lot of them are like, Lord, I don't even know what to ask. So we're going to help you out with that and give you some great questions to ask your listing agent to help you pick the right agent for you. Okay. So a good question to ask is, are they a full-time agent? Okay. We have a lot of part-time agents, and I'm not saying anything against them at all. But if you want somebody who can list your house, market your house, and push it to get sold, you probably want to work with somebody that real estate is their full-time business. Okay. Another great question to ask would, obviously be to find out how long they have been an agent. Somebody who has been in the business for a few years is going to be more familiar with the market. They're going to have a better idea of, what you need to do to get the home to sell and, what price you need to list it at. Another great question for that agent would be, what do you recommend I do to prepare my home for sale? A good agent should never be afraid to tell you what you need to do. They should be tactful when they're talking to you, but I have walked into homes and I really think some of these people were ready to list right then and go up the market. I'm like, we got some work to do. So you've heard me in previous episodes talk about, you got to declutter, you've got to get those countertops cleaned off, things like that. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times that's what we have to tell sellers, and sometimes they don't want to hear what we have to tell them. But you do need to ask your agent, what are the things that I need to do to get my home ready to sell? How well do you know the market in my neighborhood? And we are in Morristown in Hamlin County, so I feel confident that if you picked an agent that actually lives in here, you're going to be fine. We have seen a lot of agents from Knoxville that have started coming up this way and listing homes for sale. So that would be a concern that I would have. They may have a great marketing program, but how well do they actually know the Morristown market, especially if they're coming from Knoxville, which is a totally different market. Definitely different. Price-wise, how long things stay on the market, things like that. So make sure that your agent does know your local market. Do you think my home will sell above or below list price? And of course, everybody wants to think it's going to sell for above what you're asking for it. And, that's going to depend on your pricing strategy. I don't know that it happens a lot here, but in other parts of the country, I know that people will price below market value in order to generate a buzz, to generate, interest in a home so that they end up getting multiple offers above their list price. Again, we don't really practice that here. While we have a good market, I don't think we're quite that, aggressive and that short of inventory that's the strategy people are using these days. What are the next steps should I choose to list with you? So, most people when they go on a listing appointment, should have, well, this is the listing paperwork, and then you need to be able to find out from them, what's our process? Are we going to go live immediately? Are you hiring a professional photographer? Are you taking your own photos? Mm-hmm. When can I expect it to be online? Find out what the game plan is from that time forward. Another great one would be, can you explain the home selling process from start to finish?
Yeah.
It's one thing to list the house. It's another to get it sold. And that's ultimately your goal when you list your house, is that you want to get it sold. So, a good agent should be able to explain to you and say, okay, well, once we get an offer, and kind of just break it all down for you, you should even be able to get like a estimated net sheet from them. If you sold the house at full price, mm-hmm. this is what you could expect to net. So, and my goal with giving you these questions is just to help you realize that all real estate agents are not created equal. And you need to be choosy about who you list and sell your house with. So, Kim, you deal with, obviously, real estate on a regular basis. You deal with realtors on a regular basis. So if you were interviewing me, if you had a piece of property you needed to list, what are some questions that you would want answered from your agent?
I guess the first question would be how are you going to market my home? Where are you going to list it? Is it going to be in the newspaper or magazines? How do you market a home now? With the market?
And that's a very good question. Most of the time people think that all we do is list the house, we stick it in the MLS, we put the sign in the yard, and that's kind of it. There's a lot more to it than that. And newspaper advertising, magazine advertising is not as popular as it once was. For the amount of money that it takes to invest in those, we can oftentimes market it online through targeted Facebook ads or specialty websites, and generally get more bang for your buck. Right. So it kind of depends really on where, what type of property it is. I tend to do a lot of lake properties, so I advertise on lakehouse.com, Lake Homes USA, okay. Different sites like that.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. I'm sure, like you said, it would depend on property. So, what's the ratio between buyers and sellers that you represent, percentage-wise?
I would say that I probably am 75% sellers and 25% buyers. Okay. And that's just kind of my own choice. I typically do work with more listings than what I do buyers. I'm not an agent. I don't want to represent both sides of a transaction. So if I have the listing and someone contacts me that's interested in the house, most of the time I'm going to refer that out to another agent because I don't feel like I can represent the buyer and represent the seller fairly. So that's kind of why I'm more listing oriented probably than buyer.
So, well, and what I know now with phones and emails and text, what way do you prefer to be contacted if someone is interested in listing their house with you?
Well, text is probably the quickest way to get a hold of me. I would tell you to call. And I will take phone calls, but you get so many robocalls and spam calls, and they use local numbers, and it's just irritating to be in the middle of something and you stop for a phone call thinking you're getting a client and it's a robocall. So the quickest way to get my attention is shoot me a text message, and I'll be happy to call you as quickly as I can. And then it's really up to the client. The client can say, well, I don't really like to text. I prefer to talk on the phone, or email works best for me. And then we just kind of go by whatever, is more convenient for the client. But typically texting is probably the quickest way.
Gotcha. Okay. And I guess too, just with the housing market is right now, a home maybe in Morristown area, say a 150 is price range. How long are those staying on the market right now? For how long would someone expect maybe a price range to sell? So.
Well, if it's priced correctly at the 150,000 mark, then I would say you're probably looking at about a week or less.
Oh wow. That's true. I see some of that too. So
yeah, and if it's a move-in ready type home, especially. Those are going under contract quickly. If it's something that's going to need a little bit of rehab, then you may be on the market a little longer, because you're not going to appeal to the first-time home buyers, who don't have the money to do the renovation on it.
Right.
So, all right. Well, we have quickly come to the end of this episode, and we are excited to announce that Alex Whitehead is the winner of the $250. So, Alex, if you can either private message me or you can text me. My number is 423-748-8811. And then Kim and I will work out a time today with you to come and get that check to you for your classroom between now and, I guess, the next week or so when school's going to be starting back. So congratulations to you, Alex. And we look forward to talking to y'all again next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.